Wow, I have never seen a news article go so viral so quickly in recent times, because my god, this one takes the fucking cake. It really, really does. You have to see it to believe it. This kind of just blatant misogyny in the year of our Lord 2022, it just beggars belief. It really, really does. Let's have a look. Stone the Crows. Tories accuse Rayner of basic instinct ploy to distract Boris. I shit you not. That's the actual title of the article. All's fair in love and war, and Commons duels with Boris Johnson. If the claims of Tory MPs are to be believed, Conservatives have claimed that Labour Deputy Leader Angela Rayner has tried to put Mr. Johnson off his stride in the chamber by crossing and uncrossing her legs while they clash at Prime Minister's questions. Wow. Unbelievable, right? Now, I'm not going to read through the whole article, but essentially the article just kind of talks that, maybe there's a little bit, maybe Angela Rayner can only put Boris Johnson off his stride if she shows him a bit of fanny or whatever. That's just the point of view of the article, quoting what the Tory MPs have said, and then saying, well, Labour deny these claims without talking about any greater context of this, which is just crazy to me that this has ever actually been published. Because, like, with what's happened here, so if because I was going to say, like, it theoretically could be the case. Actually, the Mail on Sunday were reasonable in the way that they could have solved the story, right? There's no like, the Tory party themselves are no stranger to, like, incredibly casual misogyny. Less not at some working class woman like Angela Rayner, who, they even mention in the article, they make it very clear in the article that she got pregnant at 16 and worked as a carer and left school with no qualifications. They make it very, very clear. I'm not sure whether they're trying to signal whether she's an oik to their fucking boomer reader base, but I digress regardless. Um, the Tories have been no stranger to misogyny, least not the fact that 56 MPs at the moment, the vast majority of them Tories, are under some kind of investigation for, sexual impropriety. So they're no stranger to that, and neither is the Mail. But they could have done this article, right? They could have done this article and said, the Tories have said this, what an absolute disgrace. But of course they've not. They've taken this incredibly ridiculous claims and they've published this article with genuine sincerity over what that might actually say, which is just absolutely fucking incredible to me. Now, I would like to make it, I obviously don't want to bring everything back to trans shit, because God knows I'm sick of it as much as I'm sure you all are. But I find it incredibly funny that this is in the fucking Daily Mail, right? This was the paper that Maya Forstater and, and the Wizard Lady, they were telling us these people were the bastions of feminism when they were calling, the gender criticals the new suffragette movement, right? Yet they'll very, very happily publish this shit about Angela Rayner. Like, it really does beg a belief, and it just shows the gender crits for who they are, which is just opportunistic chances rather than any with actually any kind of coherent political statement. But anyway, that's as much trans shit as I'll put into this segment, regardless. Anyway, so this has absolutely blown all across Twitter. Really, clearly, it struck a nerve. With regards to people of how people have reacted to this. I mean, Angela Rayner herself did a big long thread about it. Let me just bring it up, which is pretty illuminating. Let me bring it up. Women in politics face sex and misogyny every day, and I'm no different. This morning's is the latest dose of gutter journalism courtesy of MOS politics. True. I sound inclusive a ploy to distract the helpless PM by being a woman having legs and wearing clothes. I'm conspiring to put him off his stride. For the rest of Tory MP, but you get the picture. Boris Johnson's cheerleaders have resorted to spreading desperate, perverted smears in their doomed attempt to save his skin. They know exactly what they're doing, and the lies are telling. The plotted biography is given my comprehensive education, my experience as a care worker, my family, my class, my background, and the implication is clear. But it's the PM who is tracking the Conservative Party into the sewer, and the anonymous Tory MP is doing his bidding and complicit. He and his cheerleaders have a big problem with women in public life. They should be ashamed of themselves. I won't be letting their vile lies deter me. Their attempts to harass and intimidate me will fail. I've been open about I've had to struggle to get where I am today. I'm proud of my background and I'm proud of who I am and where I'm from, but it's taken time. I hope this experience doesn't put off a single person like me, with a background like me, from aspiring to participate in public life. That will break my heart. We need more people in politics with backgrounds like mine, and fear as a hobby to help their mates. Thank you for so many of your messages of solidarity and support, for calling this out for what it is, making a stand in the name of decency against those who would further coarse and cheapen and debase our politics to benefit their own different interests. We can all do so much better. A good thread. She has handled it like an absolute boss. I absolutely agree there, AJB. And I think this is a good thread, and she doesn't pull any of her punches, which is great. Like, if there's one, again, I know I'm going to trigger a bunch of the leftoids by saying this, but I actually quite like Angela Rayner. Like, I know she was cringe with the way in which she tried to distance herself from the Corbyn years. Like, she's not, like, properly gone full, like, Keith and explicitly tried to separate and try and demean people to the left of her in the party, right? There's clearly a split between her and Starmer on that, and I think it shows in the way that they interact with each other, to be fair. I don't think they really like each other very much. But I do appreciate, even though we have political disagreements, that she's a woman from a working class background who did work where she had today. She's from the trade union movement, is still part of the trade union movement, and she uses her platform in, she's green on Shinigami eyes, right? And she explicitly uses her platform to attack Tories from the left. That's what she spends the vast majority of her time doing. And any kind of, like, meaningless ways in which she engages with the genuine Labour Party line, I think I can forgive that, just for, the vociferousness with which that she will try and at least change Conservative narratives, which I feel like is sorely lacking along the rest of the front bench. Like all the fucking neoliberals, like Starmer and Streeting and Cooper. She's clearly broken with their kind of ideas. So I generally quite like her. I think, I said, have my criticisms, but if she was the Liberal Labour Party, I'd absolutely fucking vote for them every day. And wouldn't even be close, because I think she's really good in doing that kind of thing. And also, she's from fucking Manchester. And I lived in Manchester for 7 years. Fucking love that shit. So she's clearly handled this really, really well. But it does strike me as odd. Because they knew this article was coming out, because like a Labour spokesperson has been mentioned in the article. That all of this hubbub has happened today, when it was also leaked by a bunch of papers in today's papers about the huge numbers of MPs who are on the ropes for sexual misconduct. But obviously, everyone's now talking about this Mail on Sunday article, so it is. It is odd to me. Let me have a look here. Last night, a spokesman for Ms. Rayner described the allegations as categorically untrue. Ms. Rayner, a socialist grandmother who they left school at 16, yeah. A Labour source said, just when you think the Conservative Party can't get any lower, they outdo themselves. The Tories clearly have a problem with women in public life. A spokesman for Ms. Rayner said that the claims are categorically untrue. So, I mean, it does feel a little bit like kind of outrage marketing. Because it's just such a fucking ridiculous article. But, the Tories, I can see them stooping even lower than this. I mean, like, I don't think this is quite as bad as like the Robanda shit. Obviously, this is horrendous stuff, but the material impact of them just being twats isn't quite as bad as the material impact of them, dehumanizing the entire group of people just for their skin color. But comparing apples and oranges, they're both fucking disgraceful, regardless. And it's good to see people like Caroline Notes as well, another like pro-trans MP from the Tories this time, also engaging with what it's like to be a woman in the political sphere. It's incredibly difficult being a woman in politics, because not only do you get belittled with your opinions, you get told to calm down, dear, by David Cameron, all that kind of stuff. It's difficult being a woman in politics already because of the general societal misogyny. But then also the gutter press will, spread spurious lies like this about you using your womanly wiles with which to distract male politicians, or in general other bits of public life. The ways in which misogyny is incredibly pervasive, regardless of who's kind of, whether you're in politics, whether you're in business, or whether you're in just general situations, right? So it's must be incredibly difficult to be a public figure, considering the misogyny, where not only are your policies judged, and your background judged, but you're also judged on the kind of the clothes you wear, the way you look, all that kind of stuff. Whether you're married or not, all that fucking shit. Like the shit that Stella Creasy got for being like someone who brought their baby into Parliament was fucking rancid, right? So this misogyny has been going on for ages. This is nothing new. It's just It's just wild that it was so blatant. Clearly, the Conservatives are trying to prove to a very small minority of voters that they can still be, you know, non-woke, if that's how fucking far they want to go with it. But still, absolutely vile. It's honestly, as I said, it really does beg a belief. But the problem is this stuff has just been kind of normalized so much. I mean, it's been normalized by the misogyny that the male could basically be engaging in forever by spending. Obviously, you've seen down the right hand side of the Mail Online website where all they do is critique women for their fashion choices or get like awkward photos of them in a bikini and judging them on their weight. That's happened for fucking ages. They've always had a free pass when it comes to misogyny, right? But not only that, there's always been this kind of mute acceptance that these kind of attacks are okay if they're against the left. Like you can say any old spurious shit that you want in the gutter press as long as you're attacking a leftoid, but they just kind of have gone too far now at this point. So people really are reaping what the media have been sowing for a very long time, which is par for the course, I guess now. But then again, it's the fact that again the Labour Party have just been spending ages having to deal with ridiculous questions in the media about what is a woman, etc. All that kind of nonsense questions to try and paint them as somehow a party that hates women. It seems like an incredible own goal at that point to then go, well, we're these Tories MPs and we're going to leak it to the press that we think that Angela Rayner is somehow flashing Boris Johnson to distract him at PMQs. They even make the comparison in the article that she might have to do it because she's working class, right? Let me find the actual fucking quote. It's just fucking rancid. I probably shouldn't swear this much if I want this to get noticed in the algorithm, but sometimes swearing is warranted. What do they even say here? One MP said she knows she can't compete with Boris's Oxford Union debating training, but she has other skills which he lacks. She has admitted as much when enjoying drinks with us on the Commons terrace. Fucking hell. Literally, she's like, well, they believe that she's too working class, she's too much of an oik to deal with the fact that our little Watonian Oxford Union person, Oxford Union debater, Boris Johnson, clearly she's far too uneducated to be able to compete with his debating skills, which, when, again, I think that, Boris Johnson's a pretty crap debater, to be honest. It's all bluster and nonsense. It's all just rehearsed talking points. I don't think if anyone actually came at him with something that wasn't in the chamber and wasn't just posturing for political point scoring like Keith Starmer does, I think he'd die on his fucking feet. Die on his feet, rather. He'd die on his feet when people do challenge him. And he has died previously when Angela has as well, because he's just not very good. And actually, Angela's really fucking smart, right? Like, have you maybe considered, Tories, that it's not someone, a woman having to, do a basic instinct on him that's causing him to act poorly? Maybe she's just better. Maybe huge amounts of members opposite are better than Boris Johnson. Now, far be it from me to defend the Labour Party, but if there's one thing they're definitely better at, it's the fucking Tories. And a lot of the people on the Conservative front bench are fucking stupid. Have you seen, like, Dominic Raab in an interview before? Like, he just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And if we've learned anything over the course of the pandemic, that clearly the Conservatives need more fucking media training, right? Jesus. But all in all, a pretty despicable showing here from not only the gutter press, but also from the Conservative Party as well. Which I find quite funny that, so what happened was, afterwards, in the wake of the scandal, Boris Johnson tweeted out, As much as I disagree with Angela Rayner on almost every political issue, I respect her as a parliamentarian and deplore the misogyny directed at her anonymously today. And then 15 minutes later, Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries tweets out, much as I disagree with Angela Rayner on almost every political issue, I respect her as a parliamentarian and deplore the misogyny directed at her anonymously today. Wow. I don't know where you could have got that from, Nadine. I don't know where you could have got that from. No idea where you found that tweet. Now, this strikes me as incredibly eerily similar to that first scene after Boris Johnson won the election in 2019, where they had like a cabinet meeting that was being recorded, and he was getting them to fucking chant like statements to repeat their fucking media lines, right? Saying we're gonna build how many hospitals, we're gonna build how many schools, we're gonna deport how many brown people, and they all had these numbers memorized so they could just be part of, like, repeat these talking points ad infinitum. So, you know, it's just incredibly obvious that these people, that the Conservative Party is just full of idiots who need every single point dictated to them. They don't understand why they're idiots, and they have to make up for the fact that they're all morons. Like Nadine Dorries talking about tennis pitches or downstreaming media. This is the fucking culture secretary, right? This is the culture secretary who doesn't know what who thinks that streaming is downstreaming and that you play tennis on a fucking pitch. Because this Conservative government is just a fucking shambles. It's just an absolute shambles. How anybody voted for them in the first place is absolute fucking mystery to me. And there is no low which is below them, unfortunately. So that is this unsurprising to say the least that both the gutter press and the Tory party have stooped as low as they have, but hey ho, it is what it is. If you enjoyed this segment, you can click like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. If you click the bell, that'll notify you when I release new videos and when I go live. And if you want to follow my socials, they are there. Follow me on all those socials there too. And if you want to click my title of the name, you can watch more videos there if you want as well. Thank you very much for watching the video today, future YouTube viewers, and I will see you on the next one.